Joel Feingold, as well as Charles Anderson, the owners of Howell Lanes, and the entire staff are helping us hosting the outstanding event that we've got. Matt Himmelreich of the PGA staff, Danny Wiseman, as well as Billy Gassett for their help promoting the tournament through their events. Make sure that we reach out and thank them. Our volunteers for taking time out of their holiday weekend to spend time with us. Tom, Maria, Larry, Robin, Madison, Susan, Justin, Brandon, and of course Leslie. And I mean that from my heart, because all of them are here now to try to make you enjoy a successful event. Special guest that we have with us, obviously Chuck was here earlier, he had to leave. He's part of the Brunswick Youth Experience, but also we have Phil Brilo from 10 on the Deck. He's helping provide the live stream that you see. You will be able to tune in, or your family and friends and loved ones at home can watch you own each and every game that you're going to compete here. Not only today, but tomorrow as well. So please make sure that if you're interested, go onto YouTube, type in Justin Bohn, and click the live feed, and you will be able to watch live bowling the entire weekend. One big special thank you to Justin. He truly is our social king for the event, putting everything out online, and this year he's actually been handling each and every event entry that comes in. So everything is running smooth because him and Larry behind the scenes are taking care of everything that's going on in front of the scenes. So Justin, thank you very, very much for allowing this all to take place right now. And last but certainly not least, folks, you've been here before, but I'm going to say it one more time, is my wife Leslie. She puts all of this together. I travel out on the road. I have the fortunate pleasure of bowling out on the road and bowling on tour. And when I say that, somebody has to stay home and make sure that they connect all the dots, put all the P's and Q's together. She has brought in all the sponsors on board. She's put everything in print. She's enabled it to where everything can come, where we are all gathering here today to make this all happen. So Leslie, once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. This fall, and you need to have your money taken care of. Please make sure you see money. Well, you can see me too, but I'm going to direct you to Leslie, so she can take care of anything that needs to happen here and make sure that money ends up in the right hands. A few rules that I'd like to share with you. Juniors, you will be trying to sign games and competition today. Please follow your score sheet for your next pair. More than likely, this squad, you will be switching 2 pairs of use, as we are using lanes 7 through 32 for all 5 of your games. You will be allowed 2 re-racks per game. If something else is out of sort or you need a correction, please make sure you see myself or Justin or Brandon on the floor, as we can take care of correcting whatever needs to be corrected and get things done in a timely fashion. 1 out of 4 balls from each division will be advanced to the finals with a maximum of 16. If you are in the finals tomorrow morning, it is your responsibility to be here by 9 a.m. We will have a roll call at 9 a.m. and be on the lanes at approximately 9:10 to get things underway. I will continue to get to that in just 1 minute. The other special note that we have is, hopefully you are a PBA Junior member. If you are, we are crowning 5 PBA Junior champions this weekend. The PBA has decided and enabled us to get 5 titles there, so therefore you can earn a banner here locally in the Eastern region for the PBA Junior membership by winning the event this year. Obviously, we have the boys division, U18, U15, the girls, U18, U15, and there will also be a PBA Junior champion in the U12 division as well. Make sure that you become a PBA Junior member if you want to have that ability, and if you have questions, please see Justin or Larry inside the check-in room. In the past 23 years, we've awarded in excess of $225,000, and after this weekend, it will certainly eclipse us over $250,000. Really, really cool when I think about everything that's coming in front of us here. Merchandise and raffles are available outside of rev rates. Please make sure that you go in there. All that money, 100% of it goes back into the tournament proper. We are going to do those drawings and raffles at about 4:30 this afternoon. girls. Once again, I believe there's 11 or 12 entries in there, but we are going to take four. Four girls from the U15 are going to advance there and bowl double elimination bracket. The U15 boys, the top 8 U15 boys will advance, and it looks like, once we look at the numbers, there may be an additional casting spot in that division. We will check that out and figure it all out by tomorrow morning. In the U18 girls, we are going to take the top 12 in U18 girls. That division, once again, is a little tricky to have the U12, or I'm sorry, U18 girls having 12 of them, but you will have a double elimination as well, just like all the other squads. And in the U18 boys, obviously we are taking the top 16. So if you're in the top 16 or any of those other members, please make sure you are here by 9 a.m. And also, one last thing to add in the U18 boys, we will be paying additional spots. It's just a matter of how many. You can check all of this out this evening. All the results will be on parkerbone3.com, and we will know exactly who's coming back tomorrow morning. Right now, we'd like to draw the 2 winners of the Bowl for Life before we get this squad underway. Will Trishna decide? Can you please come up here to the front desk? You are one of our 2 winners. Nice answer, Trishna. Oh my God. My son is trying to kill me right now. I'm just going to say if your name is Savannah Swayataka, and if I did put you down, I am so sorry. You ladies
right, we've got practice underway. Couple minutes in, 8 minutes to go. Here for our final qualifying squad of the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament, the 24th edition. Thanks everybody that's joined us online. We'll let everybody know the Strike Central feed that you're seeing on the Justin Bohn YouTube page. We basically use this to highlight players that are having big games. We get special guests like Parker Bohn or Brandon Bohn, Chuck Gardner and such in the booth. Talk a little shop. So you definitely want to keep us on in here. Do the general followings on of what's going on in the entire event. However, if you're looking to follow a particular player throughout their 5 games of qualifying, if you look down below the video you're watching in the description, you may have to hit the little more to open up the description. You'll see a link that's blue there. That's for the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament YouTube page. So right-click on that, open up a new tab. Don't just automatically go there because you lose us in Strike Central. So you don't want to do that because, hey, if you get a chance to listen to Parker Bohn III, I know I'd want to hear it. He had some good advice last round. And then you'll see when you get to the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament page, you'll see all the streams available to you. Most of the streams are 2 pairs to a stream. 7-8 has its own stream, but then we go 2 pairs for everybody else, 9 through 12, 13 through 16, 17 through 20, 21 through 24, 25 through 28, and 29 to 32. 26 lanes, everything on this side of the wall here at Howell Lanes is in play. While tomorrow, once we get down to the final 2 in each division, we'll have our championship matches over in rev rates. And I thought we could take a peek in over there, but that's not going to happen right now at the moment. But double elimination round robin match play taking place tomorrow. And we'll give you the bowlers divisions and how many bowlers out of particular divisions will be advancing to that match play at the conclusion of practice. We're halfway through practice, 5 minutes remaining, and then we'll have some announcements once again from Parker, and we'll be on the way with our final qualifying squad.
Gentlemen, how about a nice send-off for this last squad?
All right, so with the introduction of our players coming up and the announcements finalized by Parker Bohn III, we are underway here in our opening game of qualifying squad number 5. And let's take you down and give you the run through of the players on our pairs. As here on 7 and 8, bowler A is Trishna Desai. Your bowler A, Madison Lewis, your bowler B, Camille Forrester, your bowler C, and Katie Swavely, your bowler D on 7 and 8. Desai and Lewis in the U18 girls. I'm sorry, Desai, Forrester, and Swavely in the U15 girls. Only Lewis in the U18 on this pair. We'll be taking the top 4 girls in the U15 girls to tomorrow's double elimination match play. Right now, 4th place is Allison Stakowitz at a 174 average for the 5 games of qualifying. Forrester, Desai, both re-entries. Swavely, her first attempt to make the top 4 for tomorrow. Desai actually in 3rd currently, so she's looking to make sure she locks up a spot. Hey, worst comes to worst, improve your previous score. And she's got a bit of an advantage, about 58 pins over 4th place, so you need to make sure, you want to beat your last score, but at least you have one posted. Try to make tomorrow's double elimination match play. Let's go over to 9 through 12. As we have a mixed bag of players, 3 players on the U12. Mixed for your players A, B, and C. Zachary Estrin, your bowler A. Dumas of the Mason variety, bowler B. DeMello of the Zachary variety, bowler C. And Isaac Dumas, bowling in the U15 boys, is your bowler D. Next door, Ryan Haberkern is 11A. Tommy Rawa, bowler B. David Mitz, who's in the 18 and under boys, bowler C. Jonathan Durand, bowler D. Haberkern, Rawa, Durand, all in the U15 boys division. And in the U15 boys will be taking 8 to double elimination match play tomorrow. Right now, the score that's 8th is Ryan Haberkern. So Haberkern trying to lock in a spot. He knows that minus 59 probably not enough. And actually, let's take another look here because we may have a player. Yeah, we do have Kai Struthers 2 spots in the top 8, so he'll only advance with his top score of plus 115. So that leaves 8th place now as Joseph de Guzman at minus 119. So big gap back between Mel Sim in 7th at minus 21, and then that 119 number for de Guzman. Almost, 98 pins. Wow. I know the Sim family watching on the stream at home, no doubt about it. And there's Mel in the chat I saw. So Mel, you got to be a little nervous. That minus 21, it's going to be on the fence. But there's a lot of space for people to fall in behind you and take that number 8 spot. So we'll have to see as the day progresses if Sim can hold on. I don't think that minus 119 by de Guzman's going to hold for anything. On our U18 girls, we haven't introduced too many of them yet, but they'll be taking 12 to the match play finals tomorrow. And right now, unofficially, well, officially we know that Kirsten Michael is your leader at plus 99. Got a couple of players that have taken 2 spots in that top 12, so they'll drop their lower scores and drop out. So unofficially, Mackenzie Smolnick at minus 113 is your number 12 player that would advance to tomorrow. But we'll introduce some players in a little while that are on their second attempt at either looking to make sure they're locked in or advancing on an already bold score. Let's go over lanes 13 to 16. A lot of these bowlers in the U18 division, but we'll start off with 2 players in the U15 for the boys. Deion Hunter, your bowler A, Michael Fogarty, your bowler B, both in the U15. Everybody else I'm going to announce here for the next 4 sets of lanes are all in the U18. Ryan Lang, 14C, Gavin Brode, 14D, Anthony Bocchino, 15A, Jake Lau, 15B, Gregory Davis, 16C, Michael Palmisano, 16D. Broad off to a nice start, double and then a 3-bagger. Once again, it's not going to take a ton to get it in for the U18 boys, taking 16 spots. Jacob Boxty on the last squad. Put up a plus 161 to take the lead. Maxwell Benware second, plus 139. Mika Voorhees third, plus 120. And if we drop a couple of duplicate entries that are in the top 16 with Voorhees and Maskley, that currently leaves unofficially your 16th place as Jaden Kanto at plus 10. And there's a lot of scores that can get you, well, not quite into the upper part of the bracket, but it's pretty tight between 8th place Braden Maskley at plus 57 and then that 16th place score of Jaden Canto at plus 10. And once again, if you're watching us on the Justin Bohn YouTube channel, you can click on the link in the description, right-click on it so you open up a new tab for the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament page. And even though we might be moving from pair to pair, you can stay on the same pair there and follow your favorite player all 5 games of qualifying, as we have every pair live streaming all the way through this entire event. Let's get over to our bowlers on 17 through 20. Once again, all these players in the U18 boys: Michael Mashaworth, your 17A, Sebastian Bernier, your 17B, Corey Nurse, 18C, Ethan Kraus, 18D, Jasher Estrin, 19A, Ethan Broomley, 19B, Justin Goodspeed, 20C, and Jesse Tacconi, 20D. And once again, I saw a couple of thanks to the live stream in the chat. Well, we couldn't do it without the help of tournament sponsors: Craig's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Rita's Italian Custard, once again bringing in a nice snack for all the bowlers before the 4 o'clock squad. The watermelon Italian ice looked really good and was really good. And ice custard, as they call it. See, I'm from Wisconsin, so custard's a different thing for me. So what I see there, it's Italian ice. I hope I'm not mangling the product too bad by calling it Italian ice on occasion. All I know is that go to Rita's. It's really darn good. They're in Sayreville. They're in East Windsor. It's worth the trip if you're within 15, 20 miles, no doubt. Reminds me of a little place back home in Wisconsin. Not quite as good for the Italian ice, though. Good for the ice cream. Not quite as... Yeah, their Italian ice doesn't cut it in Wisconsin. Good stuff there at Rita's. Manchester Accounting and Bill Rolbach. Been with this tournament since the inception. The Storm Youth Championships, a big sponsor as well. Buddy's Pro Shop, been on board forever with the PB3. I Am Bowling, the 7 brands of Brunswick, including Ebonite, Deviate, Radical, Track, Hammer, and Columbia 300. I Am Bowling, the Bowl for Life Scholarship Foundation. Thanks once again to Chuck Gardner for coming in this weekend. Another couple of $250 scholarships awarded in a random drawing before the start of the squad. And Tricia Desai and Savannah Swiatocha, your winners of those scholarships here on Qualifying Squad 5. All they did was show up, pay their entry fee, a random drawing. There you go. You're walking out with $250 in your pocket. That doesn't loosen up your swing. I don't know what will. Knowing you're already ahead of the tournament. It's your $75 entry fee. You've made 2.5 times that already. More than. Off that $250 prize. Time Russo Photography. Of course, Rev Rates, part of Howell Lanes here. Rev Rates is sponsored along with Bones Elite Training inside of Rev Rates. Train here, win there is the motto. Can you use that this weekend? I mean, if you bowl at Rev Rates, you train at Rev Rates, but you win inside of Howell Lanes, is it still, isn't it bowl here, win here? I don't know. I like the motto, though. Bowl here, win there for Bones Elite Training. And, of course, the PBA and PBA Junior sponsoring this event. And if a bowler is already a member of the PBA Junior program, not only can they win the money and title here at the PB3, but they'll also be credited with a PBA Junior regional win. And every time they appear at a PBA junior event for the rest of their youth career until they age out, they will see their banner at the end of the lanes showing that they've won PBA junior regional event. Pretty cool of Mike Sleds, Michelle Terrell, and everyone else affiliated with that PBA junior program. We know Tom Clark, part of the brain trust that put all that together as well. I want to thank PBA Junior and the PBA for all they've done with this PB3 scholarship tournament. Let's get over to lanes 21 through 24. We just mentioned Savannah Suitocha. She's your 21A, bowling the U18 girls division. Everyone else on this pairing, U18 boys, James Ariyama, your 21B, Timothy Doan, your 22C, Angelo Galofaro, 22D, Robert Bickerdike, 23A, Jake Diaz, 23B, Braden Cassidy, 24C, and Jason Canto, 24D. Once again, you'll get a chance to see your favorite bowler if you switch over to those PB3 tournament page streams. Otherwise, we'll be bouncing around all squad long. We'll follow some hot hands. We'll follow some big games as we see them. And I'm sure we'll get a special guest or two in here as this final qualifying squad of the 24th annual Parker Bohn III tournament rolls on. So once again, lane movement should be similar to the last two squads. Add 6 to your bowler's starting lane number from game 1 here, and that's where they'll land on game 2. And then continue to do so all the way through the day as they rotate through their 5 games of qualifying. Solid game going on here by Jake Diaz. And of course, as soon as I say solid game going on here, Diaz through the nose for a split. Let's get you over to 25 through 28. All these players in the 18 and under boys division except for Sierra Archangel, who's in the U18 girls. Joseph Scullion, 25A, Aiden Dumas, 25B, Jason Bennett, 26C, Xavier Newell, 26D, Frank Sirignisi, 27A, Justin Rizzo, 27B, the aforementioned Sierra Archangel, 28C, and Sean Buck, 28D. Buck looking to turn things around from last round, as couldn't get anything really going, finished at -16. Archangel holding on to the number 6 spot currently, 8 girls advancing in U18. She's at -52. She's got to be, yeah, you can't blame her for getting back in and trying to improve on that previous round score. And let's take you over to our final set of lanes as players are close to finishing up here in game 1. And most of our players here in the U18 girls, actually all these players in the U18 girls. Ava Mazzella, 29A, Jolie Penny, 29B, Kirsten Michael, 30C, Cassandra Westfall, 30D. So even though Michael's leading, hey, you never know. Get a better score, get some experience for tomorrow. Reagan Smith, 31A. Emily Hullian, 31B. Samantha Cruff, 32C. Lena Kratzer, 32D, rounding out our players. Once again, add 6 to their lane number, but obviously 27 28, they'll end up on 7 and 8 because they're moving 3 pairs of lanes. 29 and 30 will move to 9 and 10. 31 and 32 will move to 11 and 12, as we'll be earning, that's right, game 2. 5 games in total for our final qualifying squad as we make our cuts to tomorrow's match play bracket. That bracket will be double elimination. And that will begin at 9 a.m. Eastern time here from Howell Lanes in Howell, New Jersey. right, as we get our way into game 2 here, we'll start off with some action in the U15 boys and the U18 girls. And we'll find some hot hands. It's going to be a little bit before game 1 and game 2 standings get out. We got to get everything set. There's always some changes. You get a couple late no-shows. You get some entries that are in the waiting list to get in. So once we get that out of the tournament office, we'll give you some score updates. If you want to see all the scores so far in the tournament through our first 4 squads, you can go to the tournament website, Parker Bohn, and then the number 3, parkerbone3.com, right front center middle is the website link for the 2023 results, and they'll take you to the results in all 5 divisions. And also you can actually see the results from last night from the PB3 Trios Eliminator and Sweeper. 22 Trios teams with at least 1 girl on each team took to the lanes. Top 6 teams were paid. And Dominguez, Block, and Voorhees of the Micah variety took down the top spot. And took down a split of $300 in scholarship money. And earlier in the evening, we had the PB3 Eliminator. That's always a lot of fun. Took 20 rounds of competition to get through. But after 20 rounds of competition, Amanda Morris came out on top. We'll see Amanda tomorrow, as her score of +3 yesterday has her in 4th place overall in the U18 girls, and with 12 girls advancing, that plus score will have no problem making it into that top 12 for the double elimination match play record. So once again, if you missed that earlier, I know some of you tuning in, trying to figure out what the cut might be, if you yourself or your child is going to be that match play round tomorrow, we're going to take the top 16 U18 boys, the top 12 U18 girls, the top 8 U15 boys, the top 4 U15 girls, and the top 2 in the U12 mixed into that double elimination match play bracket. Yeah, it's tough to have a bracket with 2 bowlers, but they're still going to have to bowl at least 4 games to win the title, as it's 2-game total pin matches. Oh. We can see it was the head pin, yeah. Fell out of the cup. That's a little unusual. Oh, but it fell out of the cup above it, yeah. Yeah, sometimes those fingers slip in the cups. These old 8230s are phenomenal workhorses for being 60 years old. And we're going to have to get a deadwood out of there. You can see it rolling around on lane 8 on this shot. No, it's the head pin. The head pin, it fell out of the rack above. When it set it down, you can see it didn't have the head pin in that rack. It just fell right through. So yeah, they'll have to get somebody out of the back to get that with a pin hook on lane 8. You don't see this too often, but it's unique with these old AMF pin setters because the pins slide down the cups and then hold on. Whereas a lot of the machines with Brunswick and the later AMF machines have tables or turrets that they fall into. So there we see Sydney Bohn getting a little airtime. Not for her bowling talent, but her deadwood clearing ability. And that's going to hopefully not mark a score. So There we see Pin slides down the flat gutter, and we'll get that score corrected for that bowler. But let's get back over to 13 through 16, because there's nothing more exciting in the middle of qualifying than a quality deadwood clear like we just saw there by Cindy Bohn. So once again, we saw this all tournament long. Everybody gets their 10 minutes of practice on their opening pair. We feel a little confident. Seen some big games shot. We've seen some 260s, 270s throughout the event in game one, but you don't see the 260s and 270s a lot in games 4 and 5. As following all the different styles pair to pair here inside of Hollow Lanes, this transition on this 44-foot specially designed PB3 tournament pattern can get a little tricky for the player, but these players also can't really let makeable spares become missed spares and reduce their final totals. There's the importance on these tough conditions of filling your frames is really starting to hit home for some of these young players here on the PB3. Let's make a quick run over 17, 18. There you see Jonathan Durand looking to start with the front 5. Not going to happen. I got the full-blown Booth curse going in this weekend, man. I'm telling you, every time I've gone to a big string, they maybe get one more. That's the first pocket 7-10 that's happened after somebody started with a 4 or 5 bagger, but I'm not a believer in the Booth curse. It just happens to be a coincidence, but I know there's some of you screaming out there, leave the kids alone. Stop cursing them when they're on strings. Stay away from them. Let them bowl. Well, once again, just a coincidence. It is what it is. Still has a chance for Durand to still shoot a game in the 260s, so come back from the bad break. Make some good ones for yourself. Irish Pogie. Thanks for the nice comments about Howell Lanes. Appreciate that. It's a good event. And the family atmosphere that's here, and this isn't a family entertainment center. This isn't the latest and greatest or everything. It's just you feel like family when you walk into the door of the lanes, of the bowling center, of the alley. You could almost even use the term to go really old school. But everything's clean, everything's in nice shape, and the staff here treats you real well. And I was here the other night when some of the leagues were bowling, and you could just tell the staff knew all the league players and talking to them between shots here and there. They're going to the bar, getting their drinks served in a rapidly and happy fashion. And it's a quality place to bowl here at Howell Lanes, no doubt about it. Well, Duran filling frames again, at least after that pocket 710. Sure, a couple single pins, but you know when that cut number coming in, you know if you average 210, you're doing pretty well. And even if you get an open in there, well, even a four-bagger with that open and marking filling the rest of the sheet, you're at 210. If he goes 9 out and a strike on his fill ball right here, he's at 210. You get a double in there again, 220. You get a triple in there, 230. So even though it was a bad break in the beverage frame for Duran, you can't be too awfully upset. At how his game's gone to this point here in qualifying game number 2. And Duran, 216 in his opening game. He's in the U15 boys. So he's looking to make sure he's in the top 8 of that division to get to tomorrow's action. And considering 8th currently, coming in the round was Ryan Habakern at minus 59. You can get out of this game with 195. You're still plus for 2 games. Stay at that little bit of plus if you're Duran. He's already got a score in the books at minus 15, but you always want to be that little bit of a higher seed. Theoretically, get the easier route through the bracket, but as we know, once you get to a bracket, 1 versus 16, 1 versus 8, 1 versus 4, it doesn't matter. It's a new day, and upsets will happen on 2-game total pin matches. But Duran also gaining a lot of experience for what he may see for transition tomorrow. Graphics department falling a little behind right there. We are going to be entering game 3 of this final qualifying round of the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament. 24th edition, silver anniversary next year. We'll have to see if we can get Parker to talk about sometime during the rest of the weekend if there's any special plans for the 25th anniversary. And if it makes them feel old knowing that somebody that may have bowled in this tournament when they were 18 years old the inaugural year is now probably 41 or 42 years old. That'll make you feel a little older. Game 3 coming up next.
It's so great this game, Mom. Look at it. Look at that. 4 open.
We're having fun now here at Howell Lanes during the PB3 scholarship tournaments. This is game 3 of 5 of 5th squad qualifying. Sorry for the musical accompaniment, those that are watching on the Justin Bohn YouTube channel. I'm on my 13th game of bowling today. I'm a little giddy. A little excited, too, with the cuts coming up. Once again, for those of you that missed our division advancing numbers, how many will be going to tomorrow's double elimination match play brackets. Let's give you that rundown. Start with our U12 mixed, top 2, so it'll be a race to 2 wins in 2-game total pin matches, so lots of 2s in our under 12 division. 2 advancers, 2-game matches, 2 wins. Get you 2 titles if you're a PBA junior member. Not only will it get you the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament title, but also get you a PBA Junior Regional title as well. For our U15 girls, 4 bowlers will advance. U15 boys, 8 bowlers will advance. U18 girls, 12 bowlers advancing. U18 boys, 16 bowlers advancing to tomorrow's double elimination match play brackets. And there's some young players here coming back. They bowled earlier squads, and they haven't had a chance to re-enter. Couldn't get in on this last squad, and they're sweating those cut numbers. And we're going to double check, because if there is a tie for an advancing position, I'm sure the similar rules to PBA tournaments and other events would apply, with it being a single ball roll-off between those bowlers involved within a half hour after the scores are made official. So we could have a young bowler that put up their qualifying score yesterday, and they'll have to quickly make their way back here to Howell Lanes in case of a roll-off. Hopefully somebody doesn't miss out on a roll-off for an advancing position because they're not here. That's not the way. I don't think it's the way anybody wants to advance. Sure, you're going to do it. Sure, you're going to take it. There's a tie for 16th in the U16 boys, and one of the players couldn't make it back here. I'm sure the other player would have no problem taking the spot, but they'd probably feel a little guilty about it, knowing that they didn't have to roll off for it. Hey, thanks to a few people who left some nice comments on my Facebook page today, sent me some texts and messages. Appreciate being able to watch the stream. Hey, I'm glad to be here. It's such a phenomenal event, and the Bohn family and the sponsors like Craig's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Rita's Italian Ice Custard, Manchester Accounting, Storm Youth Championships, Buddies Pro Shop, I Am Bowling, Brands of Brunswick, Bowl for Life, well, not the Bowl for Life Scholarship Foundation, because that money all goes to the kids. Chuck's not bringing me in here. He's getting those money to the kids, and I appreciate that as well. But, you know, all these sponsors, Time Russo Photography, Rev Rates, Bohn Elite Training, all those sponsors help cover my expenses to get here. I'm more than happy to give my time. I'm more than happy to have this equipment. Lucky enough to have it. I mean, there's not many other live streaming operations out there, especially those that deal with bowling, that can put on, well, basically 30 lanes of coverage. We have 26 right now out here. In the main portion of Howell Lanes, and we'll have 4 lanes of coverage tomorrow as our Champions matches go on inside of Rev Rates. And yeah, nobody out there other than one fully subscribable bowling content provider that can give you the coverage we're giving you here this weekend. And if you haven't followed me already on Facebook, I do a lot of PBA regional events. I do events like this in the Junior Hall of Fame tournament in Wisconsin. If you're looking to bring me in for a tournament, if you want it live streamed, you think it's a pretty big event, if it's a big tournament, you got some sponsors, I'm more than happy to provide some details to your sponsors, how they can get exposure additional to your tournament sponsorship with live streaming. And if you're a youth event and we can work something out and I have the time, I volunteer time for bowling. I give back a bit. Once again, I'm tooting my own horn a little bit, but events like this, Junior Hall of Fame tournament, Wisconsin, Sean Yona Memorial, when we covered that, I mean, that was out of the the goodness of my heart. They made sure my expenses got covered, and I'll give you the time, the equipment, and the temperature. And I've never had anyone not want to take my time or my temperature. So like me on Facebook, my business page for 10 on the Deck Productions. If you look for $2 Phil, that's the $, the number 2, and then Phil, Phil, obviously. On Facebook, you'll find my page for 10 on the Deck Productions, and send me a message on Facebook. I'm more than happy to talk to you about what we can do for your event, for what we're doing here, similar to what we're doing for the Parker Bohn, the 3rd scholarship tournament event. So, and we can do whatever you like. If you want to be the one doing all the talking on your event, that's fine. I'll stay behind the scenes. I got no problem with that. Tomorrow, you're not going to hear much from me during the championship matches because it's going to be the golden tones of Justin Bohn, Brandon Bohn, and whoever else they may bring in the booth during those 2-game total pin championship matches tomorrow for our 5 divisions. I'll be happy staying behind the scenes, switching some cameras, moving some microphones, and doing what we need to do to put a fully professional production out there for you to view. And if you don't think you're getting your money's worth watching us here on YouTube or watching us tomorrow during our championship finals, I'll be more than happy to refund your money, your purchase price, for what you're paying to watch today. Take a peek in on Reagan Smith there, bowling the 18U girls. Start with the front six, and she's kept it clean since then. She didn't have a great start to her day. Started off this round 193, 158, so minus 49, but she's going to get herself back to the positive with 2 games to go, as she can finish off for 254 here. You know, it's one of those things, you hit the right pair right away, you make a quality shot off your hand, so you're not messing around with your own brain, trying to figure out where to move, where you have to go to strike. And next thing you know, you can put a big game together. So we'll stick her through Reagan's finish here. She's stepping up in the 10th frame. Online, she likes it. Can't trip the 4, however, but putting 243 on the board right now. And moving herself almost in the positive territory. She'll be at just minus 6. That's got to feel pretty good. Considering the cut number, it's kind of probably going to be around that plus 41 range where Sydney Bohn's sitting at right now. I can see Sydney being 11th, maybe 12th with that number, as there's a couple of scores ahead of her that are going to drop as double ups. Or is it just one score? It's just one score ahead of her that would drop. So Bohn currently in 9th at that minus 41. So she might up 11th or 12th on the squad. I would think she'd make it. I'd be very surprised if that minus 41 didn't get her in tomorrow, but it's going to take solid games. And as soon as we mentioned about that for Smith, you can't go missing single pins, Reagan. That's going to, you don't want to go back home tonight and be that what if situation. These games are flying by today, ladies and gentlemen. This is our 14th game of qualifying on the day. We've got 2 5-game squads already in the books. Qualifying squads 3 and 4 overall for this weekend. Game 4 coming up next here from the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament, 24th annual edition. Player movement. And the battle towards tomorrow will continue. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? That's the cut number. It's starting to make a little noise in all these 5 divisions. And some of these players can hear the footsteps of that cut number coming up behind them, especially if they're near 4th place in the under 15 girls, 8th place in the under 15 boys, 12th place in the under 18 girls, or 16th place in the under 18 boys. And those footsteps will get louder and louder and louder the nearer you are to that cut number, and the fewer frames that you have remaining here. On our 5th and final qualifying squad of the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament, 24th Annual Edition, I'm $2 Phil Brylow, taking you through the weekend. And during the break, had a chance to take a walk up and down the center here. Got to see Johnny Petraglia. Just got in the door, mobbed by, well, let's be honest, some of the kids know who he is, but a lot of the parents know Johnny P. And know Johnny well. And Johnny holding court right now by the main entrance. Going to be a little tough to get him on the microphone tonight. He's just had a long drive back from Florida. He just had the big PBA 50 tournament named in his honor and the Bowlers to Veterans Link that he's been a part of for 50 years. 5-0. Amazing the dedication that Johnny Petraglia has given. Of course, a Vietnam veteran himself. There's a nice display here at Howell Lanes. Shows what he's given to BVL over the years. And we'll have a chance to talk to Johnny tomorrow, either during the early match play portion of the tournament or once we start moving into championship matches. We'll get a chance to talk to Johnny a little bit during the championship rounds. So good to see Johnny again, as always. I've been lucky enough to have a couple of good conversations with him over my time with Extra Frame and the time at Flow Bowling I spent. every once in a while you see some cool apparel during a bowling tournament, and there's a young lady sitting to my left here with a, no, you're fine because I love the sweatshirt, Thunderbolt Lanes in Detroit. Of course, they just dedicated the Tom Strobel Bay. Prior to the PBA Skill Ball Challenge back in July there, and Tom Strobel gave so much to the game over the years at Thunderbolt. Of course, home of the first PBA World Series of bowling. That 38-day slog. Now we get it down in about 2 weeks. But so many titles decided in that first World Series of bowling. Now we're down to 4 titles. And 3 animal pairs, the World Championship. And I hope it comes back again next year. It may, if it comes back to Milwaukee, great for the World Series of bowling. I'm going to be a homer, obviously, being from there. Would love to see the World Series back there. I know some of the players may feel otherwise just because of the, let's say the confines. It's a little confining in the players area, and the especially when you've got 5 players on a pair moving 6 bowling balls at a time. You got 30 bowling balls behind it. It's tough. But I love having, hopefully, if it's not the World Series, hopefully there's still a PBA event at Bolero and Wauwatosa. And I hope they bring back USA versus the World as part of the World Series again, or even as a standalone event. If that happens for a full-blown 2-day standalone event on Fox or Fox Sports 1, that's awesome. But I hope they have the team captain roll-off once again at Holler House in Milwaukee. I don't care if they put the World Series back in Detroit. I don't care if they take it out to California. I don't care if they move to Florida. That USA versus the World roll-off has to be at Holler House. So much history there. The years that Marcy Skronrowski dedicated to the sport, and now her daughter Kathy and son-in-law Tom taking the reins. Love me some Holler House. It's been a couple of months since I've been down there. I got to make a trip. I'm supposed to go down there with Charlie Mitchell and some of the gang with like Kyle Troop when they were in town for the PBA Top 50 squad of that League Bowler Certification National Championships at Bolero Wauwatosa. Unfortunately, injury prevented me from getting down there. It's a long story we won't get into on air. But yeah, watching Belmo and Tommy Jones bowl to decide who got the advantage during all those TV shows on FS1 and Fox for USA versus the World definitely paid off for the World team as they handily took down the U.S. And, of course, that trophy sitting down at the International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame in Arlington, Texas. And the live stream that I helped produce with Jeff Goodger from the PBA, from Holler House. All the funds are raised on YouTube where you're watching this now. Raised a nice 4-figure check that was donated to the International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame. So it's pretty cool that a lot of good came out of that single game match at Holler House. And if you haven't had a chance to watch it, somehow you've missed it on YouTube, go to the PBA YouTube channel tonight after we're done here with the PB3 and search Holler House on YouTube. If you don't want to go to the PBA channel, just search Holler House on YouTube. You'll find it. And it's a pretty cool 40 minutes of your time. Maybe if you don't watch the team draft after it's done and everything, watch from when we do the opening upstairs inside the bar part of Holler House to where everybody goes downstairs and bowls that big one-game match. You see all the Team USA and Team World members sitting on the stairs watching Belmo and Tommy Jones battle head-to-head. And it's definitely on a bowler's bucket list. If you've never been there, you should go when you're in Milwaukee. They're open 6 days a week. The only time they open on Mondays is for one sweeper a year, and I've been lucky enough to be part of that sweeper pre-pandemic. And it's a fun place to bowl. Not too many places where you can see the pin boys do their duty and reset your 10 pins after you knock them all down, whether it's in one ball or two. I can see Brandon Bohn working feverishly trying to get these game scores updated. We just had a couple pairs finish their third game about 5-6 minutes ago, so it's always good to verify the scores before we total them up and then throw them out for the world to see. If you want to see the standings yourself, they're available through game 2 of this squad at Parker Bohn 3, and that's the number 3, parkerbone3.com. And you'll see that 2023 results link right in the middle of the page. So many places that bowling history has been made for the PBA, and there's still a lot of those places around. I mean, we made history at Holler House. First professional bowling match to take place in the Tulane Bowling Center. Made history with the World Series of Bowling at Thunder Bowl in Detroit. That unique 18-lane arena bay. That's another one of the, you know, if you're a bowling junkie, it's another one of the places you have to go see in person. They took the stadium seating out of there years ago. Now it's tables, chairs, and such, multi-level, 3 or 4 levels up from the ground where you can sit and view the bowling on those 18 lanes. Bayside Bowl, where the PBA League is going to be a little later this month. Actually, first show is going to be 3 weeks from tomorrow for the PBA Elite League presented by Pabst Blue Ribbon. I will be cheering on my PBR Milwaukee Pounders for sure. I know Marshall Holman will make some good decisions for that team. And I'll be wearing my Pounders jersey proudly during that competition. Of course, you can get your replica jerseys. And now they have t-shirts with your logos on it. H5gbrands.com is the official provider of PBA League jerseys this year. So cheer on your favorite team. It's funny, and I was covering a regional last month in Bowling Green, Ohio. And it was a PBA 50 regional. There's a lot of big names there because it was between a couple of PBA 50 Tour national stops. And Jason Couch ended up taking down the whole thing over Brad Angelo in the championship match. And I remember Jason, I was wearing my Milwaukee Pounders jersey proudly, and he goes, "Where's your Chicago Breeze jersey?" Because he's the manager of the now Chicago Breeze, formerly the Philadelphia Hitmen. And I'm like, "Jason, I'm from Milwaukee. Not cheering on a team from Chicago. Can't pay me enough to cheer on a team from Chicago, even if you're the manager of it." And he kind of laughed and walked away. All right, I'm just trying to look around and see if there's any big games rolling right now. And this, you know, this is the same point during the other 4 squads. You didn't see any 240, 250, 260 games. You saw some 220s and 230s, but you saw a lot more 170s, 180s than you did 220s and 230s. And this is the time where some of these players are really just clutching on, holding on for dear life, and trying to get in with a solid number after their 5-game qualifying block. Try to get to tomorrow's match play competition. I'm going to get back over to lanes 9 through 12 for a second, just because we could have a best hair award during this event. It would definitely be Joshua Eston. It's not exactly a fro, but you stick him next to Kyle Troop, and it's a definite hair pairing that those that would see it would not soon forget. It was cool talking to Kyle earlier this week. Those of you might know me, not just for my time with Extra Frame and Flow Bowling, but for the Spare Time Bowling. Used to be radio show. Now it's a Spare Time Bowling Show. It's a podcast on Odyssey Networks. Get the Odyssey app. You can listen to it. All of our previous episodes. Started back in 2013. We took a pandemic break, but we've been back this year on the podcast. We used to do Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Boy, I do not miss that. Getting up early on Sunday or getting in a late flight from Saturday from working with the PBA and then doing the radio show on Sunday morning in studio. Oh, there were some rough Sundays there for some shows. And then back on the road Monday or Tuesday to the next PBA event. It was good to get home for a little while. All right, I'm gonna break. Talk about Spare Time for a second, because right here on lane 9, stepping up, Michael Mashaworth. I gotta get rid of this black cloud I've had around me talking about players all day on strike strings from the beginning of the game. I've ended a lot of them. It's not going to happen this time. He's going to get a pot. I gotta go. I gotta quit. That's the second 7-10 now. As soon as I get in somebody in the front 5 this block, they've left the 7-10. Sorry, guys. All my fault. I'm a black cloud. I got to go. You try to be nice. You try to point out someone doing well, and the pin carry guys just go and kick you in the teeth. So back to the Spare Time Bowling Show. Yeah, we talked to Kyle Troop this last week, and it's pretty cool that he's part of Bowling Jackpot Cruises, where they're actually having a bowling tournament on a cruise ship starting in the new year. Well, starting actually December 31st, goes till January 7th. Check out Bowling Jackpot Cruise on Facebook to get all your details, because there's some specials they have going on, some discounts with Norwegian Cruise Line and some 2-for-1 airfare. And there's not a lot of spots left. I believe Kyle said there was only 6 spots left when we talked to him this past Monday. So there may still be some spots available, but it's cool. Bring your bowling ball on a cruise ship. You only bowl one day before the finals, so that gives you plenty of time to hit all the ports of call that they're going to in the Caribbean. They're hitting the British Virgin Islands. They're hitting Curacao. A couple other stops. So bring your passport. Bring your 2-ball bag. Don't bring any more than that. And you have your chance to not only bowl on a cruise ship, but possibly bowl for the title of that Bowling Jackpot Cruise, having a PBA or PWBA pro as your teammate. Kyle Troop, Verity Crowley, and Amato Monticelli, all a part of the professional teammates you could have while you try to take down the title. Should be pretty awesome. I'm a little jealous. I'm a little busy first of the year. Never been a cruise ship fan or a cruise fan, but that could have been enough to make me want to bring the suntan lotion and 2-ball roller bag. right, we got some Game 3 cut scores in. Let's start with the 18U girls. And a couple bowlers in the squad. In the number right now, Lena Kratzer and Reagan Smith. And Smith just shot 222 in Game 4, so she's actually +5. So she's got a little room over Sydney Bohn. Bohn right now sitting in 8th as the cuts drop back, so Sydney's got to be feeling a little bit better being on that dead number, a -41. A couple players that are close with Ava Mazzella and Madison Lewis. Right now, Lewis, though, -54, so she's going to need to keep a clean score sheet. Samantha Cruff sitting at -65, so Cruff's going to need a little help there in the 18 under girls division. 18 under boys, we're taking the top 16 right now. That number, well, Jaden Cano shot +21 earlier. He's at that after 3 again, this block. So right now that +21 is the cut number unofficially, with some duplicate players with multiple scores in the top 16 for the 18U boys. So right now, yeah, +21 for Canto after 3 games unofficially would be the number, but we got a bowl 5 here. After 3 games in the U15 girls, we're taking 4 to tomorrow. Right now, Trishna Desai, her dead score -72, is sitting pretty well. She's at -77 through 3. There's one bowler ahead of her that's active. Camille Forrester shot 263 in Game 3 to get herself up to +4. So Forrester looking to stay in. That leaves Stakowitz right now currently on the outside. Stakowitz at -130. I just can't see that score getting past. I can't see Forrester falling back that far. And obviously with Desai already having a dead score of -72 and 2 other dead scores in the top 4, it's looking like Stakowitz on the outside looking in, and Forrester advancing to tomorrow, barring tying your shoelaces together, dunking yourself in an ice bath, and tying your hands behind her back. It's about the only way you go from -4 to -129 or 131 or worse, giving up 135 pins in 2 games. Yeah, that's tough. You'd have to shoot 140 and 135 to do that. Actually, 130 and 135 to do that. So I think Forrest is pretty good. I think we're pretty close to determining our top 4 in the under 15 girls. Under 15 boys, we're taking 12. Pardon me, we're taking 8. And right now, 8th place currently. It's going to take me a moment because we get a couple of duplicates on dead scores here. I'm assuming that Michael Fogarty and Michael Fogarty Jr. listed in the score sheet are the same person. So Kai Struthers, we got to drop a score for. Jonathan Durand, we have to drop a score for. Mike Fogarty, we'd have to drop his score. And that would leave Ryan Haberkin at -59. His dead score from yesterday is currently the cut to 8th unofficially in the 15U boys. He's still bowling, but he's at -106 for his first 3, so it's going to be tough to get there. And some other players that are bowling in the U15 boys, they got a lot of work with 2 games to go. Rawa -131, Hunter -137. So basically, they're going to have to go 70 over or 80 over the last 2. That's just going to be tough to happen in that U15 boys. And our last division left, U12 mixed, taking our top 2 players. And right now it's pretty close. Zach Estrin he had a big string going earlier here in Game 4. Estrin sitting at -174, but that's only for 3 games. Joseph Adoran at -183. That's a dead score from yesterday. And then Mason Dumas having a rough time. Dumas having a -243 for 3. So really right now, Yeah, Dumas, he's not going to shoot a ton. Estrin, with that big game in Game 4, I'm forecasting Estrin and Adoram being your two players returning for that U12 mixed tomorrow. So a couple of divisions pretty set in stone now for U12 mixed and U15 boys. It's just a matter of, and U15 girls basically, because Desai is a live number and the number with a dead score. It's those U18 divisions that are up for grabs. As Game 5 will be starting shortly, we already have one lane on this pair on Game 5. So player movement, Game 5 coming up next. All right. Zach Estrin just told me at 127 he's bowling on 7 and 8 this last game. So Estrin's going to need kind of a big game the last game to try to stay in that top. Two in the U12 mixed. As right now he's at minus 247, so yeah, he's going to need about a 170 game because minus 281 is the dead score of Odin Peters from yesterday. So he's gonna need to throw 167 or better for Estrin. So he's got a little work to do before Well, he's just started Game 5, so he's got a little work to do in Game 5 in order to make it to tomorrow's U12 mixed finals. Let's take a look in at some of our younger players here. Let's get over since we're into Game 5. Let's take a look at Estrin. He'll be stepping up as your bowler A for his second frame momentarily. You'll see him on lane 8. We're getting a dead ball situation taken care of. Deadwood in the lane. Sidney Bohn on top, and once again on lane 8, taking care of that deadwood. There's nothing better. Nothing better than a quality deadwood clear, especially when it's done by the skill of a member of the Bohn family. There you go. Like we said, we got some hope for Estrin this game. We'll stick with him for a couple of frames here in his lane mates. As you'll see the other live score here for the U12 mixed with Mason Dumas stepping up here on lane 8. Dumas trying to play a little direct on the pattern. That's a tough part sometimes, trying to get the ball to pick up, especially the lighter weight ball for these young players. Still yet to fill out strength-wise and rev rate-wise. But Estrin there, you see, going with the two-handed style off the port side, leaves himself a makeable. That's the key right now for Estrin. I don't think he knows what he needs. I think he's just going to try to get the best he can. I think he's just got to focus on filling frames. He was up here. My boot's right behind this pair, so he was up here checking out all the live streaming stuff and asking me some questions. So nice that Zachary's doing that. So Zachary's still with that chance to get in for the U12. He just needs to keep filling frames. It's fun to watch. It's always fun watching the two-handers. And as a fellow lefty, you always got to root for the lefties. All right, in the booth with me for a second between shots, Zach Estrin. And Zach, you got a chance here to make it to tomorrow's competition. Filling frames is the key. What's your strategy right now?
It's currently to just throw the ball curving from the left side and then just a normal shot and hopefully not throwing it in the gutter.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what. You keep making spares like you did. You got a chance to get to tomorrow. We're rooting you on here in the booth. You're going to be ready to get up for your next frame. Give us a strike. Show off a little bit.
I'll
Thanks,
try.
Man. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. There he is, Zach Estrin. There we go. A little in-game commentary from a man chasing the cut down. We're rooting for him. Always rooting for a lefty. And there you go. You see Estrin stepping up in his fourth frame. And there he goes, hooking back towards the pocket. 10 back. He said he'd throw a strike, and he did. Well, he said he'd try to throw a strike, but he threw the strike. And there you see, no fun and games anymore. It's go time for Estrin. He just goes back, sits down. He knows focus, job at hand. He wants to make that competition tomorrow. He wants to get that scholarship money. You're never too young to win scholarship money. And that's the best part about this U12 division. Start throwing that in that scholarship account right away. So once again, if you're looking to view any of the other pairs in play, I know we're sticking with this one for a little bit because it matters for the cut. I mean, that's what we do here in Strike Central. We get big games. We get the bowlers that are close to cut numbers. So if you're watching us on the Justin Bohn YouTube channel and you want to see any of the other pairs in play, right-click on that blue link. You may have to hit the More button if you're just watching us and you haven't opened up that description a little farther yet. Hit the More button. You'll see that blue link for the Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament YouTube page. Right-click on that so we can give you your updates here in Strike Central. We'll open a second tab. And then choose from all the pairs in play. You can watch your favorite players. They finish their fifth and final game of competition. So if we get a scoring update after 4 games out of the tournament office, we'll give it to you. Otherwise, once we're done here, get all your scores, see your players that advance into tomorrow's bracket match play competition at Parker Bohn 3, and that's the number 3.com. Huge spare here for Estrin. Dead on it. Take that 3-pin down. And that's the key. He doesn't need strikes. Keep the ball in play. Keep it near the pocket. 9 spare is super valuable for Estrin right now. And Parker talked about it before when we had him in the booth. You know, these younger players, you know they're not going to come out here and average 200 in the U12 mix. They're not even going to come out here sometimes and average 150. But they're learning. They're bowling on tough shots. They're bowling on the PB3 tournament shot. They're learning that spares matter. Estrin learning that right now. I mean, how cool would it be to make the U12 mixed finals tomorrow for him if he did it with spares? You don't need 4 and 5 baggers when you're young as he is. Keep the basics going. Keep the ball in play like he is right there. Get a lucky break. And this is one time where being a younger player can be an advantage, because he's probably throwing 12-pound equipment, maybe 13, 14. Those lighter weight bowling balls are going to deflect more. That's a little less of a chance of chopping a spare like this 247. Keeps it on line, gets it hooking back, and just didn't have enough to take the 7 down. But still, as we said, Estrin just needs a game in the 160s, and right now, if he marks out, he's in the 170s. I mean, if you go strike spare the rest of the way out, that's 173. That's more than enough. Here you see the pre-shot routine. It's important no matter what your age. See it there for Estrin. As he gets up, the quick steps to the line. He's staring it down. Is he going to get the huge break? He does, the squasher. Keeping the dream alive. for Zach Estrin. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, they might be young, but 6-7 years from now, these young players you see on lanes 7 and 8 are going to be the ones that are taking our money in pot games and winning sweepers and all kinds of other stuff. So they might not have the perfect form. They might not have the ball speed or the rev rate they need to get to a 200 average, but that's not what they need in this tournament. They're just bowling against the other bowlers in their age group. And Estrin just peek at the scoreboard. Can't blame him. He knows this game's important. Looks at what he had last time, so you know he's going to make that little bit of a move after he left that 2-4-7. And he made too big of a move, but that's okay. He's on a strike. Nothing lost. Gutter spare is the same as 9 spare right here. And he'll just take a moment here, settle himself down. And get that chance to fill the frame. Much better. Get lucky on the crosser. Oh, a little too far across, but good count at least. So 119. He's going to need some help in the 9th and 10th frames. But we're cheering him on. So here we go, yeah, looking at the U12 boys. Estrin at minus 247. So it's 281, the dead number of Odin Peters. That's what Estrin has to stay ahead of here. So Zach Estrin's going to need 167, so he's going to need to get a double in there. So if he goes spare strike or strike spare, he's going to be in the 150s. So a mark's fine in the 9th for him. He'll just need a little help in the 10th. Let's get to some of our other divisions. As I mentioned, the U15 boys pretty much not in doubt because we got to drop some dead scores with Kai Struthers, Myth Lutan, and Jonathan Durand all having scores multiple times in the top 12. So it's close between, we're taking 8 boys, not 12. I apologize. So we need to drop Struthers and Durand. Nell Sim would then be 7th. Right now, Michael Fogarty, who's still bowling. Fogarty at minus 29 has Azek Dumas right behind him at minus 32, so it's a close battle. Haberkin right now is dead score minus 59 on the outside looking in, but anything can happen. And Haberkin with a bad game 4, 165, moves his active score well back. And our U15 girls, we're taking our top 4. And as we mentioned earlier, that's pretty much done as Anthony Opadesano, Desai, well, Forrester can't throw too bad of a game in game 4. Forrester sitting out minus 107, so the dead score of Stakowicz on the outside looking at minus 130, so Forrester's going to need to shoot a game in the 180s to stay in. Oh, great toss there. And Estrin has to make the 7-pin here. There's no other way he can get in. Nope, and leaves him at a max of 158. Let's see how the young man can handle the pressure here. Well, obviously he knows he's on the live stream because we just talked to him a little while ago. Filling frames is important. Chuck Gardner talked about it yesterday. If you can't get them all down on the first ball, get them all down on the second ball. Now let's check out Estrin's spare game, and that's going to need a lot of help. And it's going to hook away. Oh, so close. So close for the young man. Under 18 girls. We mentioned the big game that Reagan Smith had. At 222, Smith's going to finish 168 her last game. So it's minus 32 to go with her plus 5. So that's minus 27. That has her inside the dead number of Sydney Bohn at minus 41, which was 7th. And the other players, looks like Sierra Archangel, barring huge scores from Mazzella or Lewis. Archangel with her dead score of minus 52. She still has an outside chance of beating on this squad, but unofficially, a couple bowlers from the squad with Lena Kratzer, Reagan Smith adding their names to the top 12 for tomorrow. Yeah, there's still a chance for Mazzella and Lewis, but they're going to need to throw games near 200 to stay ahead of other dead scores behind them. So we'll let the tournament office figure out weeding out those dead scores, but two bowlers we know for sure are going to be in, Lena Kratzer, Reagan Smith in the under 18 girls. And the under 18 boys, taking our top 16, couple of double up scores will have to get dropped. And it's Jason Canto. He's got a plus 25 right now with one game to go. He's the dead score, kind of close to the number at plus 21 after we get rid of some double up scores for players in the top 16. So once again, all your final scores will be available to you at pbandthenumber3.com. And with that, we end our broadcasting day. And we're going to see some of the best bowlers on the East Coast coming back tomorrow. 42 players across 5 divisions. We take it in the lane starting at 9 a.m. Double elimination, bracketed match play. And we will crown 5 champions tomorrow in the 24th annual Parker Bohn III Scholarship Tournament. I'm $2 Phil Brylo. Parents, take the kids bowling, because you know they're going to have fun for life. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. here from Howell Lanes in Howell, New Jersey.